Yes, this is Tippy I. The time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. You're listening to the Lion's Voice vlog. Respect and love from St. Croix VI to the world. Ras Tafari.
Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the Lion's Voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use a yet an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Ras Tafari, the Lion's Voice.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it's Exodus. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the Lion's Voice.
Yes, job people, this is Michael Shemai representing. I will say, hear the Lion Voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. But people, open your eyes, wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the Lion's Voice, we come to tell our story. Ras Tafari, live it. Hey, the Lion's Voice, Ras Tafari.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lion's Voice. Now put it. I Jollifer said that.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion Voice.
Jano, I'm so hungry, bro. I haven't eaten all day. Like, my head started to hurt me too. Like, what more could I eat right now?
What about a city samosa? Get your samosa, a fusion of Indian, Jamaican, and African culture. City samosas, the best samosas in the city.
You should do good, be good, live good. You should do good, be good, live good.
Cause it's all about the knowledge of the man in you. Emmanuel, those anointed
anointed by Samuel. We lions like Daniel, brothers like Ishmael and Israel, here to break the spell. Oh companions, I bid farewell, cause I see you joining up with the legions of hell. I spit flames, fire blaze, I cut a clear path through the wrath, protected by his rod and staff, while the wicked blow away like the shaft in the aftermath of their own craft, snared in their own trap set like Hamlet. I never will forget my root, King David's offshoot. That's why I speak the truth at all costs. Don't wanna get tossed in the sinking mire, the forgetful fire, full of tormented souls who never achieve their goals. That's why I hold up the banner high. Ras Tafari abide with I. Let's ride for life. Tell the youths about the king in the heights, Mount Zion nice. Say you ain't got to die to see it. That's the lie, you see it. That's why so many perish, never even try to see it. When you could buy a plane ticket, straight fly and see it. Come on. Say
You should do good, be good, live good. Like you should do good, be good, live good. Hey yo, time to fly away. Yard up in the Mount Zion, moon see iron of the day. In the mama Africa, feel the sun rays. Hail Ras Tafari, give thanks and praise. Hey yo, rubber Babylon, them got you captivate. Cause all you talk about is just the money that you make. Well, money they make, got the slave master, face master, still control them. The devil still hold them. I focus my thoughts on the one who hold the golden scepter. Some call him elector God. I know there's no separation. Africa await, so we making preparations. Black liberation. Hey yo, we must rise. No time to fantasize. Babylon sex don't gotta standardize. Them slave ships so can be romanticized. The vandals come slave and vandalize. Even the black woman them come scandalize. Them try to fight. Race all trace of the 12 tribes. Can't put your trust in Pharisees and scribes. So Haile, Selassie, I never take no bribes. Got to do good, that's the way to survive. So you should do good, be good, live good. You should do good, be good, live good. Fly away.
What do you have to tell the people about Ras Tafari?
Light to the world. The king of kings and the conquering line of the tribe of Judah. I left himself. Hey yo! Yeah, hear them high, hear the black king on the 23rd of July. So tell them guy who praise God up in the sky, it's a lie. The Almighty living on your night. From ancient time them a try. Them Romans know them just open them suit and ties. Criminals ain't got no alibi, they stole my people. Then them comes without them genocide.
Are you talking about slavery?
Them couldn't kill. The lion will come conquer Judah tribe. Go through tribulation, I strive, see sufferation, I still rise. That's why we tell them in America, live Rastafari in every ghetto area. We come if you tell them in a Toronto, straight at Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress was Zero Menen. My name is Kwasi Bonsu, aka Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man, creative industry attorney. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Voice Live. Welcome to Lion Voice Live, and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lions are telling our own stories. Tonight's episode, we are going to talk about
collective security. Tonight we're going to be focusing on solutions. A lot of time we come online and we talk about all of the challenges and the problems. But tonight I want to take a deeper dive into the solutions. If you see the thumbnail for this episode, it says collective security, and it also says the calm before the storm, because I believe that we are in a period of calm before things go really off the rails. And so right now it makes sense for us to take some time out to discuss solution. You know what I mean? We don't want to be, as I always say, a lamb to the slaughter. We want to come into this period of time as lions that conquer. So we're going to go set a foundation. We're going to go into the speeches of Kadamawi Haile Selassie I on collective security, community development, so we can lay out a framework in terms of how to approach this reasoning. Always go to the source, and then from the root, once we establish the root, then we're going to branch out into the topic more thoroughly. I'll give some examples of work that is ongoing that exemplifies, and we're going to end by asking the question of the lion pride: are you ready? Are you tapped in? Are you living collective security? Because right now, the instinct when times get hard, and right now we're going through some economic hardship. Most families right now is rough out there in Babylon. The instinct is to just lock off to yourself and try to bear it and get through it. I can say confidently that if we approach this era that's coming on the earth in that way, we will be swept up. And, we will become victimized, because this era is not set up for individuals. And we also talk about hyper individualism that the West teaches us. Everything is about self. And because it's about self, we don't put the time into community. And then worse, we have wounds within our community. And big up Baba Wakesa, warrior, healer, builder, my elder. I'm going to be putting up a reasoning with him, very well known from the Pan-African community as the Aya School. And he said, Ras, don't use the word trauma, because I was using that. We have a lot of trauma. He said, don't use trauma, because the trauma never ends. When we hear about trauma, we think about traumas and triggers, and there's no expectation that the trauma will ever heal. You just know that person is traumatized. So he said, stay away from the trauma trap. We have to refer to our healing as being wounds. We're wounded people. We've been wounded. And that is because the expectation is that a wound will heal. And that is what the mindset that we need is to heal from all that we've been through, so that we're no longer even triggered and we don't go down that pathway. So big up Baba Wakesa for sharing. From the elder said that I stopped using the word trauma, because I was using it a lot, because we have to acknowledge the mental health of our community and what we've been through, and why we can't organize and centralize, why every time we come together, there's so much distrust, basic things that other communities have been doing, we're not able to sustain. And that's not by accident. That's, as I say, we are wounded. We have to acknowledge the wounds, but we cannot dwell within that. We have to heal so that we can move forward. So tonight, we're going to talk about solutions. We're going to talk about collective security, which is the solution. So we're going to go into the speeches of His Majesty right now. Bear with I as we go into the royal speeches of His Majesty. And we are going to look at collective security. Can you see my screen? All right. So I'm going to read this speech. This is a speech that was made on the coronation date, November 2nd, 1920. You can't see my screen? You see it? Okay, here we go. Hold on 1 second, family. There we go. All right, so we're going to read this speech on collective security and set the framework for the principle. And let me just set the tone. As you know, His Majesty visited Europe 1924 as Ras Tafari. But before that, 1923, he was able to have Ethiopia admitted into the League of Nations. The League of Nations was the very first attempt in terms of having a world body that would govern to ensure that, you know, the nations didn't descend into war, as the First World War, you know, had devastating consequences. So coming out of that, Woodrow Wilson, who was the US president, suggested a League of Nations as a condition for America's participation in the League. We know the history. America never joined the League of Nations, but it was an American suggestion and invention. But in this league, it was to give every nation that was a member an equal voice at the table. So this is where we become introduced on the world stage to the principle of collective security. This is where Haile Selassie posed this question to the leaders of the earth. The first time a head of state addressed a global body. This is written in the history book, The Lion of Judah, from the highest throne, addressing the nation about collective security. They did not listen at that time, and so the entire world order fell apart. League of Nations was disbanded. United Nations sprung up again, based on the principle of collective security. So this is a speech where His Majesty is addressing the principle, and I want to read it so that we just are on the same page. When I'm talking about collective security, when I'm talking about things like community development, I don't just talk off of my head top. I always try to go to a source. I'm a Rastafari man, and the Rastafari man standard is that we seek that guidance from the word someone of Kadamari Haile Selassie I. So it says collective security, glory to word sound and power. It says, although a small nation, Ethiopia is yet intimately concerned with the easing of tensions which so unfortunately mar the realm of international relations today. Throughout our lifetime, we have consistently maintained that in the principle of collective security rested the best hope for assuring the peace of the world, and we have given unstintingly our support to world organizations which have been created to assure the application of this principle. Throughout its brief existence, the United Nations has justified the faith which we have placed in it, and we shall continue to be steadfast in our support of the United Nations organization. So His Majesty is saying here that the principle of collective security rested the best hope for assuring the peace of the world. Now we'll talk about, you know, where the world has gone, and that's another episode. Of obviously they have not kept to this standard, you know, and the United Nations is pretty much, I'm not going to say without value, because there is value, but it's not serving the purpose. We've had several conflicts that are illegal according to the United Nations Charter that have sprung up, and the Security Council has been, has not acted to stop these conflicts for escalating, and as a result, millions of innocent people have perished. So we're not on this principle right now, but His Majesty is saying that the principle of collective security, and this is the thing that as Rasses, you know, and royal empresses, we have to know that we are principled people. We stand on a standard, you know, there's principles that cut across all of our decision making. this is how we have to approach creation. So the principle of collective security rests the best hope and our support for world organizations which have been created to assure the application. So not just the principle, it's how is the principle applied. And in this case, he's saying there are world organizations which have been created to assure the application of the principle. And I want the item to remember that, because that's going to become essential later on in the reasoning, in terms of knowing that there are principles and that His Majesty, to the application of the principle, looking for organizations that can help implement, because collective security is not an individual thing that can happen. You know what I mean? I see my Queen Mother is in attendance. Blessed Queen Mother, Chenzira, St. Croix family in the house. Bless up, my family. We are talking about collective security, and I know that the I is one of the Queen Mothers who is implementing that. Baba Sangor, so many of the elders speak so highly of the I. Let me see what the I say. And let me just, if you're joining us for the first time, the Saturday program, this is the Lion's Voice. We talk about issues that are relevant to the Rastafari, the Pan-African community, and it's interactive. So if you want to drop a comment, you want to support the platform, whatever you want to do, as we reason, because it's a reasoning. We're building a community here online. So we definitely value your sounds if you're watching live, and for the hundreds of people who will watch on the replay, feel free to just drop a comment and keep the reasoning going. Our Queen Mother says, in light of the recent outcomes from the recent United Nations Permanent Forum for the Peoples of African Descent, this reasoning from wise ones of Rastafari are to be included. Blessed love. Give thanks for that sound. Yeah, man, we have to hold the UN accountable. But first, we definitely need to get our house in order. And that's really what I want to talk to us about today, is making sure that we are grounded and that we're living, that we're rising. It says we must become bigger than we have been, larger in outlook, all these things. So I want to make sure I can do my part. I have the Lion Pride here, which I say is the greatest online community on the planet. I'm biased. I'm transparent, but I have to big up my Lion Pride every time. But I want to make sure that we are on the same page of His Majesty and that we're implementing the teaching. So let me just go on a little bit further here, and then I'm going to take us to a speech on agriculture that deals with community development. So it says, less than 2 months ago, a historic session of the United Nations General Assembly was convened at New York. At this meeting, 17 states which had achieved their independence during the past year, of which 16 are situated on the African continent, were admitted to this foremost of international organizations. So this was, again, 1960. This is at the height of the liberation of Africa, Ethiopia leading the charge. This year's General Assembly was attended by the heads of several of the most prominent world powers, attesting both to the magnitude of tasks facing the United Nations, as well as to the increasingly crucial role which this organization is assuming in world affairs. So this is when everything was hopeful, because His Majesty example of being a head of state, and that acclaim that it brought him, addressing the world body. Other heads of state started addressing the UN. Till today, it's commonplace. It's considered protocol for the head of state to address the General Assembly during the meeting annually. But we as Rastafari can take pride in know that Haile Selassie is the first, in terms of a world leader to set that precedent. Also, through the principle of collective security, Ethiopia getting its foot in the door with these international organizations, they were able to ensure that the other African nations would join And the idea was for Africa to act as a bloc. So His Majesty had a vision in terms of the principle of collective security. Basically, we are better off working together. All right, so that is the first speech. The second speech I want to talk about is here on page 488 of the 488 of the selected speeches. If you want to follow along, let me just get here quickly. And this speech is about agriculture, but he's speaking about community development. And again, he's laying out the principle and the solution of what we need to do in this time, to ensure that we are victorious. Because I don't come into this trad to come second or to fail or to survive. We want to thrive. We want prosperity. We are nobility. This is not a poverty trad. So we want to really show our highest self. You know what I mean? So this is a sound on community development. So we're utilizing the same collective security that's on a nation level. But I started there to just lay out from a nation perspective the collective security principle. Now we're going to take it to a community level, because a lot of us, again, times get hard, we lock off to our individual families, we try to tough it out, we're going through a lot, and we're on a hamster wheel. We're just spinning on the same 30-day cycle with the bills and everything, and we don't see the progress at a rate that could be. But as I said, with this channel, we are adopting the model, every mickle make a muckle, and one cocoa full basket. So that means that it's a small, little, small attributions by, a many that allows us to achieve scale, because none of us have the wagga for just jobs up and get things done to develop our communities. So to build our institution, small attributions from the many, but that means that we got to get the people who are sitting on the fence watching, not now go on, we are complaining, but are you investing in the future that you want to see? This is the question we're going to be asking consistently on this channel. Doesn't mean you have to support the Dejazmatch Kwasi, You cannot like I don't business. There's so many great Rastafari institutions that need support that the item can support. But are you investing in the future that you want to see? Ask yourself this question. You're investing in light bill, this, that whole heap of things get investment. And of course, they should. But if you have given your life to this liberty, you're Rastafari, you're Pan-African, what does your investment look like if we put it in black and white to these things that you want to see manifested? Or are you waiting on a reparation from people who put you in the condition that you're in? And if that's the case, what makes you think that they will support you if you are powerless, or if they perceive you to be without power? Power respects power. You know what I mean? So I don't doubt that reparation will come, but I know that reparation will come when we stand in a position of power and can talk to these governments not from a position of lacking or needing, but from a position of strength built through self-determination. So that is what I'm talking about. So this one, I think, gets to the heart. And again, Haile Selassie, when we talk about omniscient, omnipotent, omnipotent, the word is what we are referring to. You know what I mean? The livity is timeless. You know what I mean? It lives within every humanity. You know what I mean? From there is good. The Almighty. This is why we say I and I. We're acknowledging the divinity. We're acknowledging the majesty within our brothers and sisters. This is the whole root of our community, rests with Ubuntu. And we have to get forward to that, because we have gotten away from that I and I, because the persecution that we face is not so heavy. One time the elders them had to band together because they were getting beaten, brutalized, If you haven't seen the episode on Bad Friday, go watch the episode on Bad Friday we just did with Coral Garden, Rastafari, Coral Garden Benevolent Society. Big up Sister Nanny, Ras Daniel. We go through the whole history of the massacre and the persecution. Go and watch that. That was our live on Wednesday. And in those days, you had to come together. But now, the beating is not so terrible. So we have the luxury of saying one side and saying, me not join them man. Them man, they're fool. Them man, they rope. But guess what happened? When we do that, we leave ourselves vulnerable. If there are flaws, then join and hold whoever accountable. But we don't have the luxury, family. And this is why I titled, when you look at the thumbnail, The Calm Before the Storm. Things are happening. We're in a trade war with China. I wonder if the item recognize, say, trade war are gone, economic war. It takes a little while for these things to hit the shelves, but when them hit the shelves, what a bam. So we need to be preparing for what is to come. And the trade war, the economic war, that's only the beginning. I told the item when I did my episode on the U.S. election that a war with Iran was coming. And you have seen the rhetoric, you have seen all of the back and forth, and believe it's been delayed, but it is coming. You know what I mean? So are we prepared for a breakdown in global shipping in the grocery store where you're used to not having what it is? What does your community look like? So what does His Majesty say about community development? Again, glory to Word, Son, and Power, the Most High, Rastafari. His Majesty says, community development is fundamentally the assisting of people whose economic, social, and administrative life is still in a relatively undeveloped state. This is I, regardless of what you want to say. I'm going to read that again. This is I is talking about. Community development is fundamentally assisting of people whose economic, social, and administrative life is still in a relatively undeveloped state. All of our Rastafari organs need strength. That's just a fact. To organize and focus their energies upon the solution of common problems. Okay, let me read that again completely. Community development is fundamentally the assisting of people whose economic, social, and administrative life is still in a relatively undeveloped state to organize and focus their energies upon the solution of common problems. So we all have the same common problems, which is that 30-day cycle, making the bills meet, not having institutions that serve Rastafari family, specifically, not being able to employ our people full-time, having volunteer organs primarily. All of these present challenges for our uprising. His Majesty says, for a man to remain isolated, this is the key, Come remember, we like lock off one side all of the time, lone lion, and we think we're rough, you know what I mean? Because we don't take no talk and we're corner. That cannot work for this time. His Majesty said, for a man to remain isolated and separated from his neighbors and to have no access to the sources of knowledge and education is to remain prey. You hear what me say? Is to remain prey. This is the lamb to the slaughter. Is to remain prey. I said it 3 times, yes. To the ills and plague which affect mankind in its primitive state. The joining together in unified effort to overcome the perils of nature and the dangers which beset man on all sides is the very basis of society and the way in which humanity, since the dawn of history, has ensured its survival. So we're getting into a time where we must ensure our survival. Global war, all type of war. As self-help is so basic to the free development of the life of a people, so assistance and aid in technique of self-help must inevitably contribute to a more highly developed society. Let me say that again. As self-help is so basic to the free development of the life of a people, So assistance and aid in the technique of self-help must inevitably contribute to a more highly developed society. So you can see, family, what we're dealing with. Again, those who stay in isolation risk becoming prey. I can't emphasize that enough, because this is the instinct of the wounds. I said earlier, I'm not going to say trauma, because trauma is a forever thing, it seems. Trauma and triggers are forever. We say wounds because wounds can heal. The wounds cause us to do fight or flight, meaning as soon as things happen, we take foot, we're gone, we drop the organ, we're gone, or we fight, we're brothers, constant fighting. We can't agree to disagree, we can't take a vote and move on, as other communities do. Not every community that is prospering agrees on everything. We can see that even in the US administration now, there are disagreements within the Trump cabinet. In terms of how to execute their plan. They may agree on the overall plan. As Rastafari, we agree on the overall vision, but we might disagree, but we cannot let those disagreements cause us to be isolated. Let me read that one more time, because this is the essence of the message I want to share. Because we have Wooly Lone Lion and Lioness. It says, for a man to remain isolated, and put man or woman, for a man to remain isolated and separated from his neighbors, and to have no access to the sources of knowledge and education, is to remain prey to the ills and plague which afflict mankind in its primitive state. Joining together is the essence of society, XYZ. So it's a command His Majesty is giving us, the blueprint, the black print for this time, timeless word sound. And that's the only solution, family. When you hear I come on this platform and say that no one is coming to save us, and we are our own solution, we are the solution that we have to see. When I was looking at the landscape as a brethren who's been on the front line for over 20 years, and I'm saying, every time I see Rastafari on social media or on the internet, is some mix up about some artists or something. I don't hear Ras talking about His Majesty. I'm seeing all this content about His Majesty by Ethiopians, by people who are fight the king, and I now see I and I, as vocal as we can be. And this didn't reflect the life that I was living. The amount of brilliant Rastafari people I know who are doing works all of the time, I say, I don't see these people represented on any platform. So you know what I did, family? I created the platform, the Lion Voice Network, and give thanks. We just crossed 35,000 in the Lion Pride, and I have to take time and big up the Lion Pride. If you subscribe, you are part of the Lion Pride. I have to big up the Lion Pride. And we just hit 40,000 unique viewers. And for those who do content creation or don't do content creation, it means that 40,000 individual IP addresses have logged in to watch content on the platform in the last 28 days, which is an arena worth of people tuned into this platform. So that is massive, and we give thanks. But that being said, when I look at my Lion Pride on Patreon, the amount of ones who supporting the platform, it's only 32 people that we have, So out of the 35,000, only 32 have said, you know what, brethren, I love what you're doing. I'm going to make sure that you can continue to bring us this content and raise the standard so that we have a world-class Rastafari Pan-African platform. And I don't blame the audience, because I have to do better job of communicating as a content creator or as a service provider. You can never blame your audience or want to cuss your audience. You have to have overstanding in terms of how we bring across the message, and realize, again, it's not trauma, but we're dealing with wounded family, you know, the trust, you know what I mean, one struggling, but we have to realize that the way out of the struggle is to support the institutions that are necessary for a thriving community. One being Rastafari Independent Non-Aligned Media, um, that would be represented by the Lion Voice Network. I've talked to the item about the Association of Rastafari Creatives, another organ I was blessed to help establish. It's a trade union for Rastafari creatives. This is another institutions that require support. You can go to rastafaricreatives.com and you can register as a member with no cost. You can get listed. We have a directory, skills bank on the website that you can become a part of if you have a skill or a service. Become a member of ARC, and you know, this is another centralization effort so that when people want authentic Rastafari creative content, there's a place that we go. Because we have to ask ourselves, where do we go when we're looking for these things, and who controls these platforms? So this is the thing we're leading up. March 25th, we're gonna have a major online event for ARC, Build the Trust. We're doing a membership drive to capitalize. We have a trust that was established. That is the entity that owns the trade union. So we didn't want to go the LLC route, you know, where it would be individual directors that have ownership. We want to establish a trust so that generation to generation, the institution survives the people who found it. And this is the way we have to think generationally. How do we build these institutions that we need to propel us to the next level? The architecture of the future of Rastafari is being built right now. And what I'm saying to my family is that we have to come off of the fence. We have to stop being passive watchers and observers. Again, we don't want to be prey to the ills and the plagues that will afflict us if we do not come together. And again, it doesn't have to be support the Dejazmatch Kwasi. If you don't like I, that's fine. I know that my tribe is out there. My Lion Pride will come. My Lion Pride on Patreon will come. Big up Selassie, our latest Lion Pride on Patreon member from Australia. So it's the four corners of the earth that we have online to reach. It's taking longer than I thought, but again, I know that my family is wounded, and the patience, His Majesty, rise I up to do this work because he know that I have the patience and I'm steady and the discipline that it would take to execute. This is not an easy work, you know, content creation, being consistent, dropping content every day is not easy. And remember, Monday, we have a big panel coming up Monday. His Majesty visit to the Caribbean. Jerry Small, the legend, is going to be on that panel. Bongo Grease from Trinidad, the legend, is going to be on that panel. Ras Tafari, a legend from Barbados, is going to be on that panel. And my brethren, Ras Culture from Haiti, who's a structural engineer, going to be on that panel. So we're going to be talking about each island that His Majesty visited, what was happening, set the scene. Special guests, the Honorable Kez, Haile, Michael. You know, that was when His Majesty came, and after that, the church was established in Jamaica. So we're going to talk about the impact of that visit as it relates to the church. There's also a fundraising that the Orthodox Church in Jamaica is doing. We're going to hear about that. So remember, keep that, lock that in your calendar. Monday, 8 o'clock, special edition of Lion Talk Live, massive panel to talk about His Majesty visit to the Caribbean. So exclusive content. So we have ARC, which is the Trade Association for Rastafari Creative. These are things that people can get involved with so that we can get active. But the key right now with collective security as we join together is to identify what are our resources, mapping. This is one of the keys that, you know, all of the efforts that I'm involved with have a mapping component. Another being the anniversary development of Rastafari. We're in the process of finalizing the IDOR website. And when that comes up, we'll have a skills bank on there for Rastafari family around the world that is interested in repatriation specifically. So we can, start bringing some organization around the repatriation, and, able to link up ones who are interested so that they can interact with each other. So in all things that we're doing right now, family, we have to use this principle of collective security in order to make it work. I can build this platform and get sponsors, and the sponsors can write me a big check or a couple of big checks. I get a couple of big sponsors, and then I come in one day and I burn a fire from Babylon, and next thing me get a call or me get an email saying no more check for you because we never like what you say. So guess what going to happen? I go and try get back a sponsor, and I now go set that fire upon Babylon again and cut off my check. You understand? So you end up being self-censored. And this is what happened to the modern media today. And this is why I say for independent, non-aligned media, and I counsel this to all of my brethren and sisters who are in the media space, is go direct to the consumer. Yes, we get sponsors, and you'll see sponsors on here. Big up Frontline Publishing, Ras Tafari, and we're going to have Ras on to talk about some of the books that he has. Again, this is collective security. We're implementing this principle. And, as I tell you about what we are doing, I want each and every person who is watching this to think about what am I doing? This is not cosplay. This is not hobbyists. If you're a Chad Rastafari right now, if you say you're a Pan-Africanist right now, what are you doing touchable? How are you investing your dollar to build the institutions that are necessary to fight this fight and to win this war? War costs money, family. No matter what type of war you want to talk about, it costs money. How are we pooling our resources, the small that we have, the small, the one cocoa full basket principle, the every mika moko. How are we pooling resources to support the institutions that we have? You know what I mean? We have other institutions out there, Dark, big up Chan, big up all of the, Word Sound Collective. We have so many, all of them could use support and strength. Identify Empress Men and Rising. Big up yourself out of Trinidad. Identify the groups that are active in your region. North Carolina, Rastafari Union. When you start calling him, you're going to forget people, and then I'm going to say, why you never call me out, Ras? I'm the Rastafari Continental Council in Africa. There's so many Rastafari institutions, the Rastafari Mansion and Organization in Jamaica, the RMO. And I want to big up the events committee who have been going to different Rastafari events to show solidarity. Again, the whole thing right now, we're in the calm before the storm. Is going to get worse than what it is now, family. Remember, me tell you, it's going to get worse. But in this calm before the storm, how are we implementing the principles that will help save us and carry us through the storm? Because if we have 10,000, say we had 10,000 of the 35,000 people in the Lion Pride. I'm not even going the whole Rastafari Pan-African family, just the Lion Pride that's here. If 10,000 say, you know what, I'm standing off the fence, I'm going to give $10 a month to the Lion Pride. That means I have now a budget that I can hire people. And we have a world-class Rastafari media apparatus. We can sponsor events. I told Sister Nanny and the Coral Garden Benevolent Society, I want to sponsor their event. I want to be in a position where as a network we can sponsor, send them a check and come down and cover the event and bring it to our audience. This is what we call self-reliance. But to get there, we need that principle of collective security. It's a shift in the mindset. Big up Ija Star and the mindset. It's a shift in the mindset that has to take place. So I'm not going to stay too long because on the Saturday Lion Voice episodes, we try not to do the 2 hours like we do on the Wednesday. And we're going to announce our guest for this Wednesday coming up shortly. And again, we have the massive panel coming up on Monday. But I want to, this was just on my heart to say, we have the solution. We are so blessed as a community that we are not out here waiting on a Messiah to come save we. We're not looking up in the sky and I pray. We are the solution that we have been waiting for. We are Rastafari in this time. In this dispensation. And we have the black print, collective security. What we need now is the implementation of the principle. What we need now is to act on the principle. And I am here, and I'm willing to accept the family. We are going to be doing Zoom calls with the Lion Pride on Patreon. We're going to be building our community and big up all of the Lion Pride on Patreon. They've been more active recently in the Patreon. That's our community. It's behind the paywall. But that's the inner circle of the platform. And we're going to be doing a lot more. They're going to help to select guests and topics. And we're building an actual community, because that's the only way. Again, as a content creator, as someone, it's not a lone lion trod. I want to leave the family with this knowledge. It's not alone. Let's get that out of our mind. This Rambo kind of Western philosophy. This is not an African principle that you're going to ride off in the sunset by yourself. We are a village culture. We are a communal culture. We are together and we need each other to survive. We're looking at creating some form of co-op here locally in the DMV with the Rastafari community. We've been in talks about it. And every community, Rastafari community, should be coming together right now talking about where do we get our food from? Where do we get our fresh water from? If Babylon shut down tomorrow, what is our plan? How do we make sure our elders are irie? How do we make sure the youth them are irie? Do we have a plan? Let us not wait until what we have chanted about comes on us, because we are the ones that warn the people for decades through our music, our creatives, and now the time coming, it look like we're stuck. Are we watching just like everybody else are watch? So we really have to get active. We have to wake up and come together. And again, it doesn't have to be support DejazmatchKwasi. You might not like even when me I talk too much. He's a liar. Me not trust him. Whatever you say, that is Irie. You know what I mean? I don't try convert. I reached past the stage. I'm almost 50 years old. So I reached past the stage where we are trying to convince one about something. You know what I mean? This stage of life, we're seeking the like minds. When it connect, it just connect, and we do the work and we move. I have over 1,000 pieces of content on this platform to show what I'm dealing with. So anybody who need convincing at this point, I don't know if to tell them. So I'm not asking wants to support but I'm saying if you watch this, find someone that you do resonate with and support them. Let's make sure the Rastafari, the Pan-African dollar, is circulating, because there's not going to be any lump sum anytime soon that drop in our lap that help us to alleviate. So we have to change our behavior, the mindset. Again, we got to change our mindset. We got to say, if I can find that $100 to pay the light bill, and I never know where it come from, then I can find $10 or $20 to put into community organization to pay dues to do something somewhere. You know what I mean? Because other than that, we're going to be in the same position. And it only works if it's at scale. We need numbers, thousands, tens of thousands of people with $5 is a powerful force. Subscribe, solutions shared. RastafariCreative.com. Beautiful, beautiful. Give thanks, my queen mother. So that's the trade association. You can register. You can put up your. Let me show you what I'm talking about here, because they say show, don't tell. So let me show the item. Let me show the item when I deal with. Yeah, bingy. So you can see this is the Rastafari Creatives website. Sorry, this is the Rastafari Creative website, and then you go to the Find Product and Services tab. You click that. Select you see the different industries: agriculture, design, fashion, graphic, health, wellness, legal services, music, publishing. You select the industry, and then you select which region. So if I want Jamaica and I want let me see, I want Jamaica, I want publishing, who me would I find? Dirty Book Man. You see? So that's the only person registered under that currently, but he has a profile here. You can see who he is, and then you can click through. His contact information is here. So this is a central clearinghouse. So, and then ARC now, which has over 11,000 people on Patreon, is on IG. ARC is now set up that we are going to be doing marketing on behalf of our members. So people who are looking for Rastafari content can find it. So this is the whole principle right now. Again, mapping becoming active. The lone lion and lioness era has come to an end, family. Remember me tell you, this is the time when we have to stand up and be counted. There's a Naya Bingi chant, stand up and tell her if you love Rastafari. Stand up and tell me if you love Farai. This is the time now, you know what I mean, that we have to get off the fence. I know you've been wounded. I know you've been hurt. I know we have money issues and trust, and man run away with the susu and him do this and that, and you say you never. But we have to put down these petty difference, and we have to come up with the solution. And I family from Ghana, Bingy Sean, big up yourself, late night on the check-in. We are international family. Big up, Malcolm Fasika, when them bless the eye. Yes, bless up yourself, Nicholas. Hamilton Brown, the Lion Pride, them a check-in. Blessed Kwasi, True Sound. We know say that is what we deal with. Rastafari, greetings with perfect love, health, strength, light, unity, peace, guidance, power, prosperity, resilience, eternal life. Look and listening from Grenada. Big up yourself, Sister Mabel. You have it, man. Freeway, the Dread Lion Pride on Patreon, checking in. Funny but true. Yes, you know what I mean? Blessing my Patreon family. And make sure Freeway, May 11th, we're having our first Zoom call for the Patreon family. We're going to build a mighty force within our Lion Pride and Patreon family and see how we can support each other and build this thing powerful. So, you know what I mean? Collective security. I'm going to read this speech one more time on community development, because some people just coming in. We were talking about collective security and community development. I'm saying that we're in the calm before the storm. We are watching the collapse of the colonial order. And with it, there's going to be pain. Anytime there's transition, there's pain. And those who don't prepare are going to bear that pain, is what I'm saying. This is the premise. And I've been warning of this since I started the channel, because we've seen it. My elders, Bingy Sean, know what me I talk about. We went to the school of Jerusalem schoolroom here in Washington, D.C., the Naya Bing girls. We've been hearing about these times from we were in university, you know what I mean? So now that we're seeing it, everything our elders said, we come and see it, family. And remember, I was in Washington, D.C. September 11th and see the Pentagon get lit and smoke in the sky, and them think that things shut down, can't access your bank account. We live through these things. We live through COVID. You know what I mean? So this is not some fantasy that we're talking about. And both of those occasions, as Rastafari, we were not ready. We survived through the mercy. But COVID was worse than 9/11. What's coming is going to be worse than COVID. The pressure is ratcheting up. The force on I is ratcheting up. And again, the lone lion thing now go work, family. So I'm going to just go through that speech one more time, and then we're gonna take any questions, and then we're gonna seal up. Just a quick touch. Lion Voice Live. You know, we just touch them quickly, and move. All right. So His Majesty said, "Glory towards sound and power." Again, community development is fundamentally the assisting of people whose economic, social, administrative life is still in a relatively underdeveloped state to organize and focus their energies upon the solution of common problems. You see it? So coming together, our economics, our social, our administrative life. Economic, paying the bills every month. Most of we have problems with that, let's be honest. Social, most of us don't get along with one another, be honest. Administrative, most of our institutions, if not all, are volunteer and are not able to maintain a consistently high level of work because of the limitations of not having full-time staff. Be honest. So this leaves us in a relatively underdeveloped state to organize and focus our energies upon the common solution to the problems. And then it says, this is the key. For a man to remain isolated and separated from his neighbors and to have no access to the sources of knowledge and education is to remain prey, lamb to the slaughter, I'm talk about, to the ills and plagues which affect mankind in its primitive state. The joining together in a unified effort to overcome the perils of nature and the dangers which beset man on all sides is the very basis of society and the way in which humanity, since the dawn of history, has assured its survival. We're coming into a survival time. Say it again. As self-help is so basic to the free development of the life of a people, so assistance and aid in the technique of self-help must inevitably contribute to a more highly developed society. One more time. As self-help is so basic to the free development of the life of a people, so assistance and aid in the technique of self-help must inevitably contribute to a more highly developed society. So yes, you must have your own. You know what I mean? I advocate that. I don't advocate collective security, meaning that everything you do have to be with people. You know, Lion Voice Network is a family business. It's going to stay a family business. You know what I mean? I find it liberating to be on this platform and not have to seek consultation with other people. I can just work. You need that. Every family should have a family business that they control. But then now, Lion Voice Network is partnering with Frontline Books and Publishing. Lion Voice Network is publishing with my brethren Ross Lidge. Lion Voice Network is publishing with my brethren Wally Kings and CMOS Live. So that's where the collective security come in. Lion Voice Network is a part of the Association of Ras Tafari Creatives. Lion Voice Network is, you know, I'm a board member on different nonprofits. So yes, we have our own thing, but we also connect with other entities that are like-minded, and this is where the collective security comes in. So I just ask everyone, if you're watching live, if you are watching on the replay, just do a audit of your activities. What institutions are you a part of? Are you one of those people who say, I don't join anything because I'm a lone lion and I'm out in the jungle and I've survived this long? I want you to change that mindset, or consider changing that mindset. Look around you, know the time, trade war, economic war, every type of war. Is it smart to be by yourself and not in an institution where you can connect with other like minds and build something that can pull you out or offer some assistance in times of hardship? How do we get to the building of Zion if we have no institutions to execute the building? The building of Zion is not going to take place because we just want to see it. His Majesty shows us that 5-year plans were the norm in Ethiopia. And I mean, a practical approach to development, we have to adapt it. So family, my son, let me know in the comments. We are, again, just having a quick check-in. If you watch this and you're moved and you're saying, Ras, I'm ready to be a part of the solution, remember you can join the Lion Pride on Patreon. You can help us to create this world-class Ras Tafari multimedia platform. Our vision is to create content from a Rastafari worldview, lions telling our own story. Yes, you see what we're doing now, but we want to take it to Rastafari animation, animated films, documentaries, blockbuster films, everything from a Rastafari Pan-African worldview. To preserve our culture, we have to invest in our culture. So if that is something that you're passionate about, or you want to be a part of seeing that uprising, then become part of the Lion Pride on Patreon, or you can become an Ubuntu Lion Pride. Bingi Shan is one of our Ubuntu Lion Pride members, the Myers family. Nicholas Nakos is part of the Lion Pride on Patreon and Ubuntu Lion Pride, so big up yourself. So there's ways you can become active. And again, if you don't love go to RastafariCreative.com, become part of ARC. You can go to Dark. You can go, there are so many organizations out there that are doing positive work. Support our Rastafari independent non-aligned media. You have Rastafari TV, our biggest platform. You have many others, Honorable Priest Isaac, you have Ija Star, you have Sela Media, you have so many Rastafari platforms that are doing powerful work. iYard Radio, Yard Real. When you call name, you're going to forget name and people feel away. But I'm just giving examples that it's not just about Lion Voice Network. Of course, I'm going to continue to chant until I get my audience on board, till I get my 100 the Lion Pride, which is our next goal. And we're going to be, again, having our Zoom meetings and building our force within our little community. But there's so many people to support, and I just want to make sure that the IDEM are spending your money with Rastafari businesses. Now, the last thing before I leave is when we have guests here on the Lion Voice Network, our next guest is going to be Lutan Fire. We have an exclusive interview with Lutan Fire dropping Monday. The first clip will drop Monday about his new album, Strength and Resilience. And if you haven't listened to that album produced by TPI, it's on YouTube, Strength and Resilience, Lutan Fire, top tier. It took I back to that 96 to 2000, early 2000 Sizzler. It's top quality. But if you can, support. When I bring guests on the platform, I want to have a situation where, we have 35, 40,000 in the Lion Pride, 10,000 people spend $10 with the artists. You know what I mean? Can you imagine the boost? The economic strength that we would demonstrate by doing things like that. And if the next time a next 10,000 come up, so in a month, if all of the 40,000 to come were to spend $5, $10 with each guest, now we're circulating resources among the Rastafari community. So that's the type of community I'm trying to cultivate. And this is what I'm talking about with the Little Moko Meka Miko. Because that person now can take that money, invest in their craft. Maybe they hire another Rastafari person. So we're gonna literally see the community rise as the platform rises. You know what I mean? Our goal is 100,000 by the end of this Roman calendar year. So help us to achieve that by spreading the word. But again, the bigger vision is to make sure that we have again that financial participation when a guest come on. That's why I always ask the guests, how can people spend money with the idea? I want the Lion Pride to spend that $5-10 with the guests, and the guests call me and say, say me just look in my account and there's 100,000 US in there from that appearance. Can you imagine? We can do that just by having again that 10,000 people give those attributions, you know what I mean? And that's the mentality I want to cultivate. And again, it can be a different set of ones each time. You're not going to support every guest, but when you see a guest that resonate, spend money with them as a principle. That's what we want to get to. And again, I will let the item know when the IDOR website is up. We do have a study group where we study the teachings. If you like going through the speeches of His Majesty and you wonder why we always are so happy, is because we stay within the word son of His Majesty. So if you were interested in the IDOR study group, send us a message and we make sure that you get a link to the study group. It's every other strong. So when I'm on the live, it's the next strong is the study group. So these are again collective security apparatus, places that you can plug in to the larger. We want to end lone lion and lioness syndrome. Don't go through this alone. And when you try to go through this alone, also your mental health will suffer. Group up with your like-minded brethren and sisters right now, family. I tell the item, now is the time. We are in the great gathering. Great repatriation is upon us. So please, make we come together. Again, me Lion Pride on Patreon, checking in. Blessed reasonment, brethren, especially regarding and guarding Rastafari, the family business. Yes, crucial. It's crucial. Every family should have a personal family business, because one of the mistakes that we made is that we send our children out to get jobs in Babylon and be dependent. We have nothing for them. So if they don't get a job, they're not hired, then society looks at them as a failure. No other culture is sending their children as much as black people out there. They have somebody have a family business and you go work, and so you're all right. We have to take care of our own and be sure. So I want that to be the standard within Rastafari, that every family have a family business, a family brand, a family seal. Let's get back to that. So we know, yeah man, them a tailor, them a carpenter, them a content creator, them a whatever they are. They're farmers, but have a family business. My queen mother said, done, completed the Patreon vibe sharing. We need to spread this positivity, love eternal. My queen mother, you've joined our Patreon. Oh, wow. I feel so loved. I'm awaiting volume 2 of your novel series and the film. You see? So if you want to see, because my vision is to do the book as an animated series. If you haven't bought the book, Haile, Selassie, Ethiopia, I wrote it like an epic fantasy. My queen mother, Mama Chinzira, we did a presentation for her university class. She's a university professor. And she bought the book and started reading it right away and was giving me reviews while we were in St. Croix. So, and she knows the vision. So this is one of the reasons, again, why we want to capitalize this platform, because we want to create that content. I've been watching, different things out there. We watch cartoon. My son loves anime. I watch the anime and see how the Japanese, I put them like a cultural thing in the anime. I'm saying, where's our equivalent as Africans. Where are our stories to captivate our young adults? You know what I mean? So big up, Queen Mother Chinzira. Blessed love, gratitude, Rastafari. Blessed love to the eye. Turan Leah, give thanks for the works and the word, sound and power, the DejazmatchKwasi. Blessings, my brethren, you know what I mean? Turan Leah, all right, big up yourself. Everyone who comments, royal greeting, the DejazmatchKwasi watching from South Africa. I am new to the knowledge of Rastafari as Jah in flesh. Honored to be a part. Blessings, family from South Africa. And this is, again, why for this work is so crucial, because the family is growing globally. And so many people, I get these messages, you know, and it's so powerful. Give thanks for the wise counsel, strength, and Rastafari foundational solutions. You don't know, my Queen Mother, ever eternally bless. May more support, invest, promote, sip the treasures and gems of the lion's voice. Yes, I. Rastafari kingdom build in Haile, Nicholas Megalas, enough respect, Ras. Give thanks for the reason every time. I'm living in Benin, West Africa. Since 6 years, I'm a reggae artist and a sound system organizing and would love to join Rastafari Creatives. Yes, go to RastafariCreatives.com, sign up as a sound system under the music tab. Put your information there so people can find you. Rastafari, I Animation. So, yeah, man. Big up everyone who watched this live. I know hundreds more will watch the replay. We're not going to stay too long. I have to go. I want to just give a special shout out to the love of Iman life, my Queen Shireen Bonsu. We just celebrated her Earth Strong yesterday. Beautiful day. I surprised her with a surprise visit to the spa. Ethiopian tick, you know what I mean? As a king man, I tell people, husband of the year does not win itself. You have to put in the work. So big up my queen, my royal queen, and big up Sister Parthenia. I gave her gifts straight from Sapelo Island, one of the indigenous maroon islands of America. I had bought some special gifts for my sister from Sapelo, delivered. So big up the royal queen, love of I and I life. You know we love a love story, and one day I'll have to tell I and I own love story here on the Lion Voice Network. But I have to big up the queen. Special love from the king man. We are about building families here, so always have to shout out the family. Big up all of the ones them tomorrow. All roads lead to Saltmarsh Trelawney, Lion Voice Network. We are a media sponsor, official media sponsor of the House of Siba Haile Selassie tribute going on tomorrow, and Sacramental Fest. Big up all of the Rastafari family. If you're in Jamaica, roll out to House of Siba tomorrow to full joy that event. Big up all of the Lion Pride who are making this possible again. We did over 53,000 views in the last 28 days, over 40,000 unique viewers from around the world watching this platform. And we're not going to stop. We're going to continue to grow. So plug in with us and watch history. Rastafari best days are ahead of us. Yes, the 70s was sweet. Yes, the 80s, we got through some things. 90s, we'll rise up again. 2000s rough and ting. But the glory is in front of us, and the Lion Voice Network will be there and has risen to highlight the greatness of our Rastafari family from around the world. Positive vibration only here on the Lion Voice Network. And we won't stop. Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion's Voice.
This is Tippy I. The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. You're listening to the Lion's Voice blog. Respect and love from St. Croix VI to the world. Ras Tafari.
Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
Yes, Jah people, this is Michael Shemai representing. I say, hear the lion voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up lamb's voice. Now put it. I Jalifa said that.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.